Well, it is good to be back, guys. It's been quite a while since the last time we spoke. And sure, a lot's been happening. Today, I really wanted to be super positive with the start of a new video, as it has been a while. But I thought instead of being super positive, I'm just going to be totally honest and real with you, talk a bit about what has been happening over the past year, catch you all up, and yeah, tell you about my current amputee experience. You know, we've been doing this since 2018, and it's been my goal to share the ups and the downs of being an amputee solutions, talk about prosthetics, gait, all the things that you guys have seen on those 60 plus videos that we've made. But today, I really just want to give you an honest assessment of what has been happening and tell you that things don't always go as we hope they'd go. And I worry that with some of the videos that I make, I send out an overwhelmingly positive message. And to be honest, I am mostly positive about being an amputee, but there are not so good times. For the first decade of my amputee life, things weren't that good. I mean, I wasn't aware of it because I didn't know what was possible with good prosthetics, good prosthetist, and a few good solutions. And that changed in 2018 for reasons I talked about on this channel. But I just want to tell you what has happened in the last couple of months. So I don't know if you remember a year ago, if you go and look at the videos, the last one I posted, the last long form video I posted was all about a ride that I did, a mountain bike ride in the deserty area in South Africa called the Crew. And I rode just on 120 kilometers that day. And it was brilliant, beautiful day, no problems with the bike or with my prosthetics or with my residual limb. Just on top of the world, felt so good. And that kind of carried on for a while, and subsequently, over the past few months, I've had quite a few problems. And so these things have not been possible, and it's really kind of caught me off sides and reminded me that life can be difficult, can be really tough as an amputee. And I just want to share some of that with you today. Also want to share some of the good stuff and share some developments in the world of prosthetics, some really exciting stuff coming up. And I'm going to answer a few questions that people posted on YouTube to get the ball rolling. So I'm sitting inside our new podcast studio. As you can see, we've got 2 extra microphones here. Lost focus there for a moment. We've got switches, and you can't see behind me. Maybe I'll include a picture, but we've set up an amazing studio here to interview guests. We want to get that rolling and talk about all matters amputee, share this information with you. Every time I read the comments on the channel, I try and answer most of them. I am quite humbled by how much trust people put in the feedback that I give. I really do appreciate that, and I feel I have a responsibility to answer them the best I can. And what better way to answer those questions than to involve some other amputees and their experiences. Amputees from all walks of life, well representative of all our demographics, but also anything from below knee, through knee, above knee amputees, and maybe even other amputees, other limb amputees, if that is what you guys would like to see, if we can build on what we have been doing with leg amputations. But just to go over what happened. So from about June this year, I started gaining some weight. I think I'm a bit chubby cheeks, more than I was in the previous videos. That's all my own doing. It's due to inactivity. I think it was preceded by a bit of a drop, a bit of an emotional struggle for various reasons I'm not going to go into today, just more inactivity. What the weight gain, I think weight is such an important issue. I've mentioned it before, and it can be controversial sometimes because people feel, I think, I don't want to insult anyone, but I can't not talk about what is real. And weight is the enemy of the amputee for so many reasons. It has to do with socket fit, it has to do with how mobile we can be, the things that we can and can't do. Sometimes it can be a slippery slope like it was for me. Just so you know, I gained between 8 and 10 kilograms over the past couple of months. I'm doing my best to try and shed that weight right now. It's quite harder than I thought. Maybe it's because I'm getting a little bit older. But yeah, so we have to be mindful of that. When I attended the Amputee Coalition event in the United States, in San Antonio in 2018 it was. I saw how many people struggle to get back on their foot, because of them struggling with weight. And I understand that. I understand that we become less mobile. Weight gain is almost inevitable unless we make up for it in other ways. So something to be mindful of. And maybe we can have that conversation in a podcast with some guests at some point, and offer some tips and ways to overcome that. But the first thing that happens with weight gain is you're heavier. So there's more pressure on my residual limb. The socket fit is impacted, changes, so there's more pressure, there's more chance of lacerations, of bruising, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I get chafing and cuts, even some bleeding. That, of course, leads to pain. It's painful. The fit is tighter, so there's less circulation, which means I get more tired when I try and walk longer distances with my prosthetic leg. I become demotivated. It affects my emotional well-being. So I feel less active, less positive, and all of this kind of came together over the past couple of months. And I thought, let me share that with you guys, because that is a part of being an amputee. It's not always all good. So what's the antidote for that is obviously to be committed to some weight loss, which has to do with what I eat and what I do, essentially, or don't eat or don't do. It has to do with rebuilding. It has to do with setting a bit of a goal and a vision for where I want to go with this. Support, really important. I get lots of support from my family and from my friends, especially at the Ossur mobility clinics, which is something I'll talk about a little bit more. And I think a big one is gratitude. I feel that if I feel grateful for what I have had over the past couple of years, and I feel grateful for the fact that change is possible, that really has quite a positive impact on me. Just checking my notes here. That's kind of on the downside, and it is, I think, inevitable that when you have physical difficulties, it'll impact you negatively, emotionally. It's probably also a reason why I haven't been making or been demotivated to make videos, but there should be no excuse for that. And we're back. So the good is that there are some new prosthetics on the market. That is truly exciting. As there's one specific product which I've had the privilege of seeing, but I can't really talk about the specifics of this product. I can say one or two things about it without kind of totally giving the game away. But you guys know my history with prosthetics. I started off on the Ottobock 3R60, which was fine, just not really conducive to the kind of activities that I wanted to do, and a little bit unsafe for me at times. I went from there onto the Ossur Total Knee. What I liked about that knee was the ruggedness, the robustness of it. It's a bit of a sort of a go anywhere, also not as safe as I would like it to be, but truly robust and rugged. From there, I went on to a knee called a Naptesco, which was a hybrid microprocessor knee, and that was pretty good, not bad, but I had to I have a problem in that I can't find a replacement battery for it, although it's still in a very good condition. Maybe we should do a giveaway with that knee at some point. And then in 2018, I had my big break, and I went on to the Ossur Rheo knee XC. That would be this boy, a Rheo knee XC, and together with this foot, which is the Ossur Proprio foot, and everything changed. I talk about this extensively on the channel, so you will know all about that. But my life changed drastically. Became more active, lost weight, started hiking. Suddenly I could put my kayak on the roof of my car, I could put it into the water. More recently I started mountain biking again. Just brilliant, just a brilliant combination, and really did change my life, made me a much more positive person. So there's a new knee coming out, and the benefit of this new knee, it's made by Ossur. In the meantime, I did use the power knee, which I absolutely loved. But I think for my sort of lifestyle, the Rheo knee was more sort of suited to what I do. Shows you how spoiled I am. But there's a new knee from Ossur, and it's in certain ways similar to the Rheo knee XC. There's also a new foot, which is the upgraded version of the Proprio foot. But the biggest benefit of these two components is that these are splash proof, But the new knee coming out and the new foot coming out, those are waterproof. In other words, I can totally submerge them. I can walk into the water with my kayak, which does make a difference. I don't have to hop along. I can get to the water with my surfboard. I can ride in the rain with my mountain bike. If I fall into the water by accident, that's not going to be a train smash. The dynamics of the new Ossur knee, very similar to the Rheo knee XC. So I am already wearing one. As I said, I would love to tell you more and show you more. I cannot do that right now. But I will certainly make a video about this super exciting piece of equipment. Take nothing away from the Rheo knee XC and the Proprio foot that I've used up to now. Absolutely just a fantastic combination of prosthetics. But this new knee is something quite special that I look forward to sharing with you. I'm so dying to tell you about some of the features of this knee, but yeah, the time will come for that. So that is kind of sharing something on the looking into the future side, which is about the podcast that we are going to do. I've got some guests in mind already. They're happy and keen to join us. It's I wanted to share the whole thing about life and the downside for an amputee. When things go wrong, how it can affect you physically and how it can affect you emotionally. It's talking a little bit about minding our weight, our physical well-being, talking a bit about our emotional well-being and trying to get out of that hole that I've found myself in and the effects of it, and just sharing some prosthetic news. What I'd like to close off with on this first podcast or video in quite a while is just to share some of the comments that I've received from people and maybe answer one or two of them. And I want to mention that I truly appreciate these comments that you guys send. I often feel humbled by the nice things that you say. Occasionally I get one that is not that kind, I guess, but that's social media for you. It's all good. I can understand sometimes people are angry. Maybe they're in the early stage of being an amputee, or they simply differ from me, which of course is good. It's good to have differing opinions, and I always try and answer the more negative the best I can in a positive spirit. But so let's take a look at what some people have said. So also, since I've last seen you, my eyesight has deteriorated a bit, so I'm going to have to wear these glasses to see. So the first message is from Paula. Paula, if you're listening, thank you. You've sent quite a few messages over time. This is in the comment section. Yeah, the subscribers, and if you enjoy the content, please do subscribe. Oh, that's another thing. We've gone over 5,000 subscribers, and that was a big motivation for me to get all of this going again. But thank you for that. Thank you to all the subscribers and for all the communication and input, the participation that I get from you guys. So Paula says, I enjoy watching you, Chris. I'm 5 months an amputee and still afraid of falling. My whole life has changed. My husband died 2 years ago, and I'm all alone. I wish to meet a companion someday, but who would want a woman with one leg? I first thank you, Paula. It's being really vulnerable. I hope you don't mind me sharing this. It is in the public domain if it's in the comment section, and I hope that me or some of the other people listening today can give you some feedback on that. But the last part there's, you're right, it does change a big part of our lives. And then you had the added difficulty of your husband passing, and I'm sorry to hear about that, and feeling alone. And I do think the opposite of depression and fear is connection, and with others. But your last sentence, wish to meet a companion someday, but who would want a woman with one leg? I think if a person chooses not to have a relationship with you because you have one leg, or because you're an amputee, that says very little about you, and maybe something more about the person that chooses not to have that relationship, not necessarily in a negative sense, but in sense of personal preference. But if somebody doesn't want to have a friendship with me or a relationship with me because of that, maybe it's their loss, Paula. You've learned a lot about difficulty. I think that the best way to learn how to deal with life is through adversity and finding meaning in that adversity. So I would say that if you've lost a limb, you've processed it, moved forward, that you're most likely a better person to live with from having learned from that experience. We will in the podcast talk a bit more about how to continue with relationships if you're an amputee, and insecurities that might arise from that, the emotional as well as the physical side of things. So let's choose another one. Love watching your videos. This is from Colin. Love watching your videos. I'm 17. That's really young to lose a leg, Colin. I'm sorry to hear that. Lost my leg in a motorcycle accident. I've got a good friend called Veli. Veli will be joining us in a podcast. He lost his leg in a motorcycle accident. So I imagine he'll have a few things to say that you can identify with. He says, I've never talked to another amputee, and these videos help a lot. Thanks for that, Colin. I never spoke to another amputee for the first at least decade of being an amputee. I wasn't interested, and I think a part of me disowned being an amputee, and I just didn't want to kind of have anything to do with another amputee merely because we were amputees. I wanted to find common ground in other areas. And when I got involved, or when I met some people at the Ossur mobility clinics, which I want to suggest you guys attend, they're truly brilliant. There's quite a bit on social media about that. If you go to Instagram and you search mobility clinic, you'll find quite a bit, or Ossur, or Life Without Limitations, or Ossur Family, hashtag Ossur Family. You'll find quite a bit of information. But there I met some remarkable people. We had a lot more in common than being amputees, and sharing our thoughts were extremely helpful. It's only been good for me. So I want to suggest that I'm glad the videos help, but I think interpersonal contact with other amputees can only be a good thing. Go, attend, take what works for you, let go what doesn't. But nothing bad, I think, can come from that. Let's see. Octavia says, I'm an amputee. How long will it take to walk normal without crutches? Octavia, that's a great question. In my view, I think the sooner we can get onto a prosthetic leg after the amputation, the better. I think some people start developing a mental block to doing that. I think the longer, the more time drags by, the more we become dependent on crutches, the more resistance I often see to moving on, or the more fearful people become. I do think it differs from person to person and body type to body type, but in general, my suggestion is to do it as soon as it's safe. And I would work with a professional on that. Myself, I was very determined, so I had the knee amputated at the end of October, and I was on my prosthetic leg by mid-December, walking quite comfortably, and I'm glad I did that. I think I would have gotten a bit stuck if I hadn't do that, but I was motivated, and I didn't want the dependence of crutches where you can't even use your hands to do things. I thought that being less independent, being an amputee, was enough to deal with already. So it depends from person to person. I've heard people say 1 month. For me, it was 2 months. But I think what matters is that you have a plan and that you have support throughout that whole process. And obviously, you have a prosthetist that you really connect with and that you trust. Veronica says, I'm a new amputee. I'm so depressed and angry. I thought it was going to be easy. I just need to know how to walk from someone like you in detail. Please show me or I will die. This is a very distressing message to get. I, at times, hear people talk about feeling near suicidal because of their loss of limb. My response, of course, to that as a therapist myself is to find help, to connect with somebody that you feel has got your back and can see a vision for you that you might not believe in yet, but that you can trust will take you to that vision that they have for you until you buy into it, or until you can see that that's possible for yourself. I think, again, it differs from person to person. Some say that it wasn't easy. They struggled for a long time. I felt not that it was easy, but I felt I had less obstacles than most in getting going again. Maybe that's a topic to talk about, is a timeline from amputation to well-being again. Veronica, you say I need to know how to walk from someone like you in detail. I've made quite a few videos on that. There are two in particular. The one is how to walk with a kick-ass gait, and then there's how to walk with a kick-ass gait 2. I want to suggest that you go and watch those. I think it'll be helpful. It's 2 of the most popular videos that I've made, and a lot of people have told me it's been extremely helpful for them. you can always send me a message if you want to know more. You can DM me on YouTube if you like. Then Paula says, my biggest fear is falling trying to take a shower. So this is a big talking point with a lot of amputees, and I've seen some nasty injuries from slipping and falling in a shower. And Paula, I made a video about that, how to set up your bathroom so that it's safe. I suggest, depending on how balanced you are, how stable or unstable you feel, that you use a chair to sit in when you shower initially until you find your confidence to stand. I have a small built-up wall in my shower space with a cushion, a foam cushion that I can rest my residual limb on. And then I have handles all over the place to hold on to. I have never fallen in my bathroom. It's quite fortunate, I guess. But and then there's the golden rule: never hop in your bathroom ever. Hopping on a carpet is fine. Hopping on the beach is fine. On a lawn, but don't hop on in your shower. It takes the slightest amount of water to have dire consequences. But watch that video. It's on amputees bathroom layouts. All right, maybe we can take one more. Amin Khan says, hi Chris, this is Amin from Silicon Valley, California. Hi Amin. I've been an amputee for the past 40 years. I'm above knee amputee. What walking sneakers would you suggest? So I have said this on many occasions, and I'm going to end with this question. We'll take more questions from you guys in the future, so please put them in the comments. Subscribe and put your questions in the comments. I'd love to. It's great talking points for content. But I've talked about this a lot. So I've seen people with great prosthetic setups, for example, the one that I have on now, or my Ossur Rheo and Proprio, which is a fantastic combination. And then I see them wear terrible shoes. I don't understand that. For me, it's like putting terrible tires on a Ferrari, or small little tires in a four-wheel drive. It's just, it kind of, you take all that investment and develop R&D of technologically advanced or engineered prosthetics, and you put terrible shoes on them. It kind of negates all the good stuff, doesn't it? So I think an investment in footwear is very small compared to the investment in the prosthetic, and totally worth it to use the best possible footwear. I use the I'll take it off. So I've talked about this before, but I use the Salomon Speedcross, it's called. There's a Speedcross 6 out now. It's got a very sticky sole. It sits very tightly on your foot. It doesn't move much, not on the prosthetic side or on the other side. So it's very predictable with your gait. If your shoe is unpredictable, then the dynamic of the leg will change constantly. So wear a shoe that fits snugly, that doesn't move around a lot, that has good grip, super important, and you should be fine. So, my suggestion are the ones I use. It's a Salomon Speedcross, but anything like this, an equivalent, should be good. Should be good for you. All right, guys, that's the story for today. I just wanted to reconnect. I wanted to tell you that there's some good stuff going on. I wanted to share with you that I've had a bit of a rough time, but coming out of that, and hopefully every time we do a talk over the next few months, I would have lost a bit of weight until I get back to my ideal weight, and I have less issues, less tight socket fit, and I feel more mobile and more emotionally buoyant again. So that's us for today. So good to be back. So good to be chatting with you guys. And I will catch you on the next one. Ciao.